guys, welcome back to Tip Tuesday. My name is Matthew Sturkey with Stone Mill Log and Timber Homes. Thanks for joining us on this windy Tuesday afternoon, located here at our headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee. Behind me is our Prestwick sales model with a standing seam metal roof, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is different roofing options, pros and cons of the different roofing options, and the cost variables with the different roofing options as well. Last week we talked about siding options and the gables and dormers. The week before that we talked about foundation finish options, and this week we're going to talk about roofing options, starting with several. The first being asphalt shingles, and then we're going to talk about a wood shingle like a cedar shake shingle. The next we're going to talk about metal, and then we would have kind of rounding off with a slate roof or a clay tile roof, and then a stone-coated metal shake we'll talk about as well. So there's different pros and cons with the different roofing material options, starting with asphalt shingles, which is probably one of the most widely used roofing materials in the construction industry. It's very versatile, goes with just about anything. It has probably one of the lower price points of any roofing material option, so if you're trying to value engineer, asphalt shingle would be the way to go. You can typically get a 30-year shingle, and on the flip side of that, a 30-year shingle is going to be replaced more than what you would find with a slate roof or a metal roof or a stone-coated metal shake. So long-term, it's going to have a higher cost than metal or slate, or it's going to have a higher cost than a stone-coated metal shake, because those roofing options are typically going to be lifetime, at least in my and your lifetime. The second option is going to be a wood shingle. Wood shingles are a little bit prohibitive when it comes to fire rating, but there are times when you get into certain developments where the covenants and restrictions require a wood shingle or cedar shake shingle. Not something that we typically recommend to our clients, but definitely an option. Aesthetically, it's one of the things that looks the best with a log or a timber frame home, and certainly is something that's required with certain developments, but it's probably going to be in your mid-range as far as price points of different roofing material options, but not one of the most widely used by our clients. The third option is going to be metal, and there are different price ranges with metal, from the standing seam metal roof that you see behind me, which is more on your higher scale, all the way down to just a classic 5V ribbed metal roof, which would probably be somewhere between 20 and 30% less than what you would typically find in a standing seam metal. Metal's going to last longer. You'll typically get 40 to 50 years out of it, so it's not something that's going to have to be replaced in a short period of time. From a price point standpoint, it's going to be kind of on that middle range or upper middle range with regards to roofing materials, but there are different options that you can get. It's going to have a nice fire rating, so a higher fire rating. And then the one thing with metal, depending on what gauge you're doing, certain gauges will have less of a hail rating than others, so be thinking about that. If you're in an area that has susceptibility to hailstorms, make sure you get the right gauge of metal roof when you're doing your shopping on that. The fourth option that we talked about is going to be like a clay tile or a slate roof. This is not something that you typically find with a log home. It's a little bit more cost prohibitive, but certainly the look, the architecture of it is second to none. If you're doing something that's heavier like a clay tile or a slate roof, make sure that you mention that in the design and engineering process, because there's a little bit more weight involved in those types of roofs, and you've got to account for that in the roof framing. And then last, talk about a stone-coated metal shake. There's a company called Gerard that makes this product. It's a metal roof with a coating that's poured over the top of it. It has some depth, looks a lot like the depth of a cedar shake, but has a really high hail rating, has a really high fire rating. So if you're in an area that's prone to hail or fires, that would be an option. And it's going to be one of your more expensive options, but it's a lifetime product, something that doesn't have to be replaced in 25 or 30 years like an asphalt shingle would. So these are the different options. I would highly encourage you to look at the different options and the different price points in your budgeting phase when you're doing design work, and talk to our sales department about the different options that are available, and our designers about the different options that are available, so that you can figure out what is the best option for you. And that's what it boils down to, what's best for you. So hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for joining us today for Tip Tuesday. We look forward to having you next week. Until then, stay safe and healthy and take care.